No, it's still pretty early for us. Typically, we run in 90-day cycles before events as far as announcing fight cards. This event, obviously because it's such a big deal for this region, we're gonna try to get out in front of that. And I'm hopeful that we'll have some names in the next probably 4 to 6 weeks. But the way I would think of it is obviously we're gonna have a lot of the top talent from this region, but we'll still have some big international stars at the top.
Okay, and you mentioned trying to sign a Chinese MMA star. Is there anything further about possible bouts in China? And is there anything further you can tell us about who that might be?
Yeah, we're definitely working on a first live event in mainland China. We've had a couple events in Macau, but it's completely different, going to a Beijing or a Shanghai. And I have nothing to announce at this time, but it's definitely a priority and a focus for the organization. So hopefully, we'll see where that leads.
And you're actively seeking signatures of Chinese fighters?
Yeah, that's never stopped, to be honest. I think the fighter that we're going to sign is able to actually step in and compete right away. He's that good. I think at the more development level, we're gonna be signing lower level Chinese fighters and getting into our fighter development pipeline and actually trying to get them ready to fight and compete at the UFC level, because the talent level isn't necessarily there across the board. But we're fortunate that we do have a handful of Chinese fighters that are able to compete at the UFC level.
Have you guys considered going back to Macau yet?
We haven't. I think we were successful in Macau and it was fine, but I think our ambitions lie in mainland China, and it's really not the same market. And I think that's kind of where our focus is. It doesn't mean that we're ruling out Macau, but our priority at this point in time is mainland.
Now, there's been a couple of rumours that it was Shanghai maybe on the card this year. Is anything to add there?
There's nothing to confirm at this time, but as I said, we're going to do 5 events in the Asia Pacific region this year, including Australia. And when those events are ready to be announced, they will be announced.
UFC haven't been particularly successful in Asia region for the past few years. What lessons have you all learned from the previous years in your Asia expansion from now on?
Yeah, I guess it depends how you measure success. We feel like we've been particularly successful from a revenue and profitability growth perspective, some of the things that we've done. I will admit that we've been a little inconsistent in our event calendar. Last year was a challenge. Obviously, we had the Manila event that got canceled. We had some venue issues as well, right? So we would have probably been back in Seoul, but the Olympic Gymnasium there was undergoing renovations. It's now not going to be ready until the end of this year, 18. So the expectation is we'll be back in Seoul early next year once that arena is ready. So there's been some challenges there, but we're continuing doing our thing. I think our Asian talent is probably at a higher level than it's ever been from a marketability perspective. Between Stun Gun, Zombie back in the mix now, Leech. So I think in my mind, we've been successful with how we measure success, even though we probably haven't been as vocal or upfront about what we've been doing in this region.
You guys looking to capitalise it? There's so much excitement around these Korean fighters at the moment.
Yeah, believe me, this has run all the way up the flagpole beyond UFC to the WME IMG level, and everyone's very much focused on it. I think the plan obviously is to go back to Korea in the beginning of 2018 once the arena is ready. We're basically waiting on that at this point. But I can tell you from a marketing perspective, people are very high on the Korean talent, and we have a very great broadcast relationship in Korea where we've been successful. Now it's about actually activating with the athletes themselves and building their profiles globally.
Last question, please.
So do you see Singapore as a hub for UFC, and how do you train the local fighters here?
Yeah, that's the challenge in Singapore and Southeast Asia is that the reality is that the fighters from this region are just not at that level yet. So as I mentioned in the presentation, whether we invest in a fighter development program and bring those fighters over to train in USC with the best gyms and the best training partners, whether we actually build a facility in this region to be a hub for the region to develop fighters, we know that we have to invest and get behind this at an earlier grassroots level if we ever want to have success with this talent, because it's not going to happen organically as fast as we probably want it to happen if we just sit around and wait. So it's something that we're focused on for sure.
Thank you.
Sorry, last question. How do you intend to differentiate yourself from ONE FC in this region?
How we differentiate ourselves? As I mentioned in the presentation, ONE FC, they've been very successful at developing talent in the Southeast Asia region at kind of I guess, development league level, and we've always seen ourselves as the pinnacle of MMA with the most elite talent, right? So I just think the talent levels is just two different places, and I'm happy that they're growing the sport at the grassroots level in this region and bringing more awareness to MMA. And ultimately, what happens is the best talent gravitates to UFC, and the fans that become fans of MMA realize that if they want to see the best fights and the best competition and the best product, they'll obviously find UFC as well.